What is up, guys? It has been a very long time. I don't even know if you've missed me, but I'll tell you what, I have missed you guys. A lot has been happening. Life totally got in the way of everything and kind of wrecked all my side time, money, pretty much everything. If you follow me on Instagram, you see that we sold our house and then bought another house. Well, the market right now is absolutely insane. And not only that, I had to live with my in-laws, which they're great people, but I had all of us had to live with my in-laws for a little over 3 weeks. So that, right in itself, was a big change in pace. It felt almost like, I was living with my parents again or something, where I had like a curfew or something of that nature to where I needed to try to be home because their dog would go ballistic if they were in bed and I came in. So I didn't go to my shop for 3 weeks, and before that, I was fixing the house up. Okay, so I'm going to throw some clips in right here, but we went through the entire house to sell it, even though you don't even really have to do that in today's market, but we did because that's who we are. We wanted to make it easier to sell and more appeal to more people. Well, it worked out great. The house actually sold in 7 hours. So 7 hours from when we listed it to when we were signing paperwork. The people paid cash and they were super stoked on the house. Okay, so then we move on to being at my in-laws, and that was, like I said, it really wasn't bad. It was just very different from what we were used to. And then we moved into the new house. And even now, we are still trying to get out of all the boxes and get things figured out. So, I'm going to update you guys on a little bit that's been going on as far as the different cars and what I've been doing, what has been up. I have a lot of stuff that I filmed before we started doing everything and moving. However, I lost my hard drive. So everything that I had filmed, it got packed away in a safe place. That safe place, I couldn't find it. Finally, after unpacking everything, I actually found it, and I still haven't even tried to edit anything, but I do have a lot of stuff shot as far as the Aristo is concerned. So the Aristo's come a long way since the last video I made. It has coilovers, it has different wheels, it's got, what else did I do? I can't remember what else I did. An exhaust. I did an Axleback exhaust, which is pretty sick. It sounds good now. Those videos are coming. I have to edit them. I just wanted to kind of get back in the motions, I guess, trying to get things to where I can kind of get a rhythm back, because I've been very much not in a very good rhythm with anything. So let me take you through a few of the things that I've been working on, things that I've been doing, issues that have come up with the Aristo, and yeah, okay, hold on. Okay guys, so first of all, you can see pretty much all my stuff is a little bit buried right now. Dad's been moving some cars around, but the Aristo's sitting here. It doesn't want to idle. I've cleaned the idler control valve, and it still is acting funny. I'm worried a little bit that the factory ECU is acting up. So those are the wheels. It's on BC coilovers that they custom built for this car. I told them it's factory weight. This is what I'm going to do with it. Full of family. They valved them, sprung them correctly, and they ride absolutely amazing. So you can see I've got the ECU stuff apart down there. So the other thing I've been working on is this guy. This is a friend's car. Well, it's a friend sold it to another friend. This was one of the original Wild Running cars. So Chris Miller of Rise Fab owned this car for a really long time. Okay, this was his first real drift car, 1J, non-VVTi. But the guy that owns it now, Josh, he wanted a Haltech on it. So we put an Elite 2000. We did R35 coils. He did a 2-wire idle air control valve, which is, I need to do something similar to that. But We added fuel pressure, oil temperature, a bunch of fail-safe stuff for this thing. We put an IQ3S, one of the original Haltech IQ3Ss. That's kind of like what was in my car, but this car ended up having a lot of issues when it was on the dyno. So it has been one thing after another while I was trying to get this thing ready for him. So one thing that I really didn't want to happen, because he is in Utah. So he might be moving back to the East Coast, but as of right now, this car is going to be going to Utah. So we added an external map sensor so that we can use the internal map sensor for baro correction, because he's way up there. But when we got this thing on the dyno, the fuel pressure started dropping off really bad as soon as we started to make any kind of boost or horsepower. So first thing we checked, fuel pressure regulator, it was leaking. It was leaking pressure off out of where like the diaphragm and stuff is, like where it pressurizes the diaphragm. It was leaking out of the threads, it was leaking out of the top. So I said, okay, you know what? I have a radium that I had for the Aristo at my shop. Let's put that on it. That'll rule that out. That fixed things to the next problem, okay? So we were able to make a little bit more boost before pressure started dropping off then. So then we went to the fuel system. We opened up the tank. It actually had a AEM, I think it was an AEM 320, which should technically be enough to flow the little over 400 horsepower that we wanted to make on pump gas. So other thing in the fuel system, once we got it running, it wanted to run super lean, even at idle, out of boost. So then we started looking at things, and to get it to run correctly, we ended up having to tell the ECU that it had 400 cc injectors in it instead of 650. So we ended up putting injector dynamics 1050Xs in this car. He'll have lots of overhead for ethanol if he ever wants to do it when he moves back to the East Coast. So the other issue, once you put a bigger injector into a car like this, if you have a fuel pump that can't keep up with the demand of the larger injectors, you're going to have issues, okay? So we replaced the fuel pump that I had for also another project. So I had that, ordered another fuel pump, got it in here. Ended up having to rewire that fuel pump with 12 gauge wire because it was a Walbro 450. They recommend larger gauge wire over a large run. So did that. Pressure did even better again, but it still would drop off above a certain amount of boost. We started looking into things like maybe a dirty fuel filter. The fuel filter was a GM unit that he bought from, or that was originally purchased from Drift Motion. I've got it over here, so let me show you here. This is a GM fuel filter with AN adapters. In a normal, non-high horsepower application, that would probably be just fine. It's non-serviceable, which I don't like on a race car. I like a serviceable fuel filter so you can take it, clean it, look and see if it's dirty. Yeah, that doesn't have that. So what we did was we bypassed it. Boom, immediately we had good fuel pressure all the way through the run. So we got a radium 6 micron big boy race car filter, put it on this car, and now the pressures are perfect. So I just finished doing all the fuel level calibrations, and this guy's ready to go. I'm excited. I've had it for a long time because I was working on it off and on through all the home renovation stuff. So I had it at my house, my old house, and I was able to do pretty much everything from there, which was really nice, except for the things I needed to do on the lift, like fuel filter and stuff like that. So that guy's ready to go. Now, on to what you guys kind of know me for. Now, obviously, you guys have known me for doing fabrication and the Aristo lately, but this guy is what you know me for if you've been following me for a long time. So my SC300, the poor thing is buried, okay? Like, there's the door, there's the car. I haven't driven this thing in a year or so. It's been sitting. I've fired it up a few times just to make sure it still runs. It needs cam seals still, and It just needs a lot of stuff going through. I did upgrade the passenger seat. It had a Sparco Pro 2000 in it, and a lot of people had issues that were bigger than like a 32 waist. They were uncomfortable. So NRG SFI certified seat is now in here, and it's really rad. It's got the hex pattern on it, but it's much more like passenger friendly. Okay, so this car, we had originally low mounted the wing, my big BCL wing, 1850. I freaking love this thing. It's so good. We got the different end plates on it now. It's just a little bit different look, and yeah. So you guys see, I've had the VSKFs on here for a while, and I think that's gonna change. Now I know everybody loves VSKFs, and they are really rad. I built these. It was a lot of fun. But the prices are going up like crazy, and honestly, they're really heavy, and they're hard to mount tires on at the track because they're reverse mount, and they are hot boy, and honestly, like they're so heavy, honestly. Now that I have the Aristo, which is my street car, which is my like hot boy, looks not super fast yet. There's more on that. But the Aristo scratches that itch for me. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is probably selling the VSKFs. If for some reason you are interested, they are 18 by 9.5 in the front. Now they're ish plus 20. The rears are 18, 11.5, 6-inch lips, big boy lips, like negative 30 or something like that. I'll get actual measurements, but if for some reason you think you're interested, you can hit me up on my Instagram. I'll put that in a link in the description. If for some reason you're interested, like I said, they're not even really for sale yet, but I think what I'm going to do is put like a real race wheel, like a one-piece forged wheel, something that I can get more of pretty easily if something happens. My original thought was if I hurt the VSKF, it'll usually just be a lip. I can replace the lip. Well, they're really heavy, and I never really run the rears when I'm drifting, so it doesn't actually matter. So what I want to do is do like an Inky or something like that, something classic. I'm not really sure yet. Inky has a lot of cool new designs out, and I've really been digging them. They're light, and just for the money that I could spend on like 6 to 8 Inkies, I could sell my VSKFs for that. So I love them. I'm going to clean them up. I'll get some pictures, do all that stuff. So, you know, that's some of the ideas. I obviously have a ton to do to the SC. Rear mount radiator, standing up the intercooler, going through things, really fixing a lot of the ins and outs. But that's going to be probably this winter, I hope, once I can get the Aristo sorted to where it's reliable. Like I said, it's been having some issues. Doesn't want to run. That doesn't work for me. So let's talk about that for a minute. All right, so my arm was getting tired. Let's talk about the Aristo for a minute. You guys know the thought process behind the Aristo has always been simple family hauler that I can rely on. I drove this thing for like 2 weeks straight while I was at the in-laws. It was great. Take the kids to school, go to work, come home, enjoy the car. It's got AC, everything like that. Well, I came down to get it, to take it to the new house, and it was acting like it was dropping cylinders, and then it just didn't want to run. I've messed with it a little bit more. I cleaned the idle air control valve. It seems like that's going to be the culprit, but I don't know if it's that or the fact that it has an aftermarket sister board in the ECU. So I did find that. I did build a patch harness for the Aristo for an Elite 2500. It's in there, but it's not actually controlling anything. I was using it to data log transmission functions that the factory ECU did. So I think what I need to do first is just start taking control of things. So take control of the idle, take control of the injectors, take control of the ignition, take control of the boost, stuff like that, engine functions. I'm going to leave all the chassis functions to an extent to the OEM ECU. I'm going to leave the transmission to the OEM ECU for now until I can get a little more data. Now that I have some time, well, I don't have time, but I have a little more time on my hands. So, the other thing with the Aristo, now I have always said that I'm going to leave it stock twins unless I have an issue. Well, the issue is that it's slow. It's a big car. Does that count as an issue with the stock twins? Sure. I was chatting with Hurt from Hoonigan. He has a GS300. If you don't know or haven't seen that thing, you need to go check it out. There's a whole build series on it. He built it himself with a couple, helpers and stuff like that, with like fab and stuff like that. But it had a G35 900 on it, and he loved it. It was on a fairly stock 2J, and he made quite a bit of power on that with the G35 900. Well, he did drift week in that car, ended up hurting the engine when he was mangying an airstrip like he does, like a badass. But he ended up spinning a rod bearing or something. So he decided to lose his mind and build a nasty motor for that car. Well, with a nasty motor comes a new turbo, and he had this G35 900 sitting in his storage facility. So I said, hey, Hurt, do you have any turbos that you could part with? Because he runs the same size turbos as I do. He said he wasn't going to be using the G35 900 anymore. So originally I was thinking, hey, I'll just put that on my drift car. But the more I've thought about it, the GTX 3584 RS, it works awesome on there. And really, I don't need to be messing with that car because I know it works. So I was like, hey, maybe I should just put it on the Aristo. So that's what we're going to do. Eventually, it will get a G35 900. Now, this is the Aristo we're talking about. The Aristo will get a G35 900. It's going to get a Tile MVR wastegate, because that's what I use. I love the Tile stuff. I've had great luck with it. It's already got a Tile blow-off valve on it. I picked up some ID 1000 injectors, and I'm going to put it on ethanol, but it will be flex fuel, so that, like I said, this is going to be a daily driver, so that I can pick the kids up and everything like that. And for some reason I can't get ethanol, no problem. It's not an issue at all. I just fill it up with 93, and the Elite 2500 goes ahead and changes the fueling tables because it sees the ethanol content. So there is the plans for the Aristo. However, I really need to make it run right first. So now that the SC300 I've been working on is done and should be leaving soon, I can go ahead and dive into the Aristo. Now, I cleaned the idle air control valve, and it still doesn't run right. It's better. It's better now, but as it warms up, it actually drops idle, drops idle, drops idle, and then just dies. And because it's on a factory ECU, I can't just hook up my laptop and say, hey, what's going on? So 1993 technology is not like 2020 technology, 2021 technology, which is what everybody wants and everybody should want, because it's a lot easier. So what I need to do is get it converted, let the Elite run the engine, and then we can see maybe it's a bad circuit in the factory ECU and the idle air control valve's fine. Let's hope that that's that. If not, I'm going to convert to an external idle air control valve with like a GM style that you can like mount on the firewall or something like that. Yep. So that is the long-winded plans for the Aristo. I will say that I really want to show you guys the new house. It's a train wreck. So once I can get the Aristo to the house, I will do like a quick tour and show you guys a little bit around the garage and some of my thoughts and plans for that. I do have some plans for the home garage, nothing crazy because obviously we got the kids at the house. I can't be making a bunch of noise, but I want to be able to work out of it. I did pick up a bunch of detailing stuff. That was my COVID addiction. I just kept buying detail stuff. So we are going to cut, polish, and ceramic coat the Aristo soon. Once I get it home, that's my big plan for that. Really make it pop. And then I think really we have a lot going on. There's going to be a lot coming. And like I said, there is a lot of stuff that I had shot before all the home improvement stuff happened, and then before all the home life stuff happened. So expect that stuff really soon. I'm really excited to be coming back into doing some filming and hanging out with you guys a little bit more. If there's anything that you guys have missed, put it in the comments. I know that things have been a little bit weird as far as my uploads that have been non-existent, but I'm hoping to get back on track because I want to spend more time with you guys. I've missed doing the filming and I've missed hanging out. So hopefully I will see you guys super soon. And some of the videos that I've shot previously on the Aristo will be coming up here in the next few weeks. So look forward to that. Let me know what you're looking forward to down below as far as stuff that I've talked about. And hope you guys have a great night, day, weekend, whatever's coming up for you guys. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.